You know that feeling, right? You've read an email, maybe 3 times, and you're still not sure what it's asking you to do. Yeah, it happens to all of us. And you know the problem usually isn't the idea itself, it's the words they use to try and explain it. So today, we're going to dive into the power of plain English and see how it can make everything you write crystal clear.
Okay, so let's start with a really common experience. Have you ever found yourself rereading a sentence in an email or a report, just squinting at the screen trying to figure out what on earth it's actually saying? Of course you have. We all have. Sometimes the words themselves are the biggest wall between you and the meaning. Let's look at a few classic examples.
All right, here's a classic. Prior to commencement. Ooh, sounds super official, right? Like something very serious is about to happen. But all it really means is before we start. That's it.
Or what about this one? We would like to advise residents that, this phrase just immediately puts up a wall. It feels so formal, so distant. It's like the person writing it is holding you at arm's length instead of just, talking to you.
And this little gem. Your cooperation in this matter is appreciated. I mean, sure, it's polite, I guess, but it feels so robotic and formal. A simple, direct, thanks for your help connects on a totally different level, doesn't it?
So what's the deal? Why do we do this? Why do we wrap up perfectly simple ideas in all this complicated formal language? Are we trying to sound smart, more authoritative? Honestly, a lot of the time it's just a habit we pick up, right? We think it sounds professional, but really, it's just getting in the way. Well, the answer is what we call the plain English solution. And I want to be super clear about this because it's really important. This is not about dumbing down your message. Not at all. It's about opening it up so that everyone, literally everyone, can understand it without having to decode it first.
So what exactly is plain English? Well, think of it as a style of writing that's just clear, it's direct, it's easy to get. The whole point is to remove all that friction for the person reading it. You want to make your message effortless to absorb, and honestly, that's a huge sign of respect.
And this really gets to the heart of the biggest myth about plain English. Let's be real, that fear of dumbing it down, a lot of that comes from ego. But when you open up your writing, it's an act of inclusion. It's not assuming your reader can't understand you, it's assuming your reader's busy and you're respecting their time.
A fantastic way to think about this is like spring cleaning for your writing, right? You're not changing the furniture. Your core message is still there. You're just getting rid of all the dust and clutter so that the real message can actually shine through.
Okay, so we've covered the what and the why. Now let's get to the good stuff, the how. We're going to break down 3 simple, super powerful rules you can literally start using today to make your writing so much clearer. All right, rule number 1. Ditch the jargon, the unnecessarily long words, and those stuffy formal cliches. Seriously, these things are just speed bumps for your reader. They slow people down, they make them work way too hard, and you know what? They can even make people trust you less if it sounds like you're hiding behind a bunch of corporate speak.
Just look at this transformation. The before is so clunky and cold, right? But the after, we want to let you know. It's direct, it's warm, it's human. It just instantly builds a connection. It's the exact same meaning, but with 0 friction.
Okay, moving on to rule number 2. Use short, active sentences. This is a game changer, folks. It's all about creating momentum and being perfectly clear. Shorter sentences are just plain easier for our brains to process, and using the active voice makes it obvious who is doing what. There's no room for confusion.
And this example is wow. It's so powerful. That passive sentence on the left is a bureaucratic classic. It has been decided. Decided by who? The grammar police? A secret committee? It totally avoids responsibility. But the active sentence, so much better. We will introduce parking restrictions. Bam! It's clear, it's accountable, you know exactly who's doing it.
So how do you actually put this into practice? Here are a few really simple guideposts. First, try to stick to just one idea per sentence. Second, aim to keep most of your sentences under, say, 15 words. And finally, just use everyday phrases. It's not rocket science. It just helps you sound like, well, a real person talking to another real person.
And that brings us to our third and final rule, which might just be the most important one of all. Prioritize meaning over style. Look, your job as a writer isn't to sound clever or poetic. Your number one job is to be understood. A sentence can be beautifully written, absolutely gorgeous, but if it confuses your reader, it has failed. Period.
This really all comes down to discipline. I love this quote. It says it all. Every single word must earn its place. Think about that.
If a word isn't adding crucial meaning, it's just clutter, it's noise. So you have to be absolutely ruthless when you edit.
And hey, if you want a great little tool to help you with that ruthless editing, I've got you covered. Here's a final check you can run everything through before you hit send. It's called the 3 S's checklist.
Think of this as your final polish. It's a super simple but really effective filter. Just ask yourself 3 questions. 1. Is it simple? Are these words familiar and easy to read? 2. Is it short? Is there any sentence here I can cut down or simplify? And 3. Is it straightforward? Is it perfectly, 100% clear what I need the reader to know or do next? Because in the end, plain English isn't just a technique you learn, it's a whole mindset. It's really an act of service. When you write clearly, you're showing profound respect for your reader's most valuable, non-renewable resources, their time and their attention.
And so that leaves us with one last question to think about. That next email you're about to send, or that document you're working on, what's one thing you can say more clearly, starting right now?